What's up and welcome back to Bardown Talking Hockey, episode number 195, presented by the Barroom Network. It is the home relating to everything. Back to the great sport of hockey. My name is Vinny Parisi, and I am a big Chicago Bulls fan. Just kidding, they stink. And this right here, this is Frankie Mueller, and he is the king of all beans. Frank, the Bulls, they really freaking stink.
That was a disappointment, but
no doubt about it.
But VP, we got a packed house today. We got Skokes in the chat.
Oh,
we got Travis in the chat.
Oh,
Paula and Tom in the chat.
Oh,
we're packed. We're packed for this nice Friday afternoon. It's supposed to be very nice outside today. I think it was today in the 70s. It's not in the 70s right now. I don't know if that's supposed to change.
It's 74 according to my phone.
Oh, then my computer is dead wrong.
It could. My phone could be dead wrong.
Well, and my computer says it's 57. It's got to be nicer than that. But I believe the phone over the computer for sure. So
totally.
It's supposed to be a nice day out. We got Antonio. We got a packed house. And it's going to be a good show.
Frank, I have a question for you. Do you like my hat?
I do. It's nice and crisp. It's simple. Yeah, I like it.
Do you like it even more?
Wow, is that a NIU logo?
It is.
Wow.
It is, dude. I found out. So they had a promotion for basically like every big school, like had their night at the UC, but it was like a special ticket. It wasn't like a front door promotion. And this was gifted to me at the end of the season by the great Nick Boss. And then yesterday I came to find out, look what Frank Nazar was wearing during his exit interview yesterday. Same exact hat, but Michigan. And I'm like, I kind of want all of them. How do I get all of them? Is there a Michigan State one for Levshinov? Is there freaking one for U of I? Is there one for Illinois State? There is one for Illinois State. I've seen it. My buddy Tim, he got one. So, yeah. Oh, my God. So cool.
I saw them doing the promotion. When we were at the game, we saw them advertise for NIU at the United Center.
Yes.
And was that a giveaway?
It was like you pay for the ticket, and then you have to go claim your hat. You don't get it at the front door.
So everybody got one? It wasn't like first 20,000? Oh, it was like...
It was only people who bought the ticket through the promotion.
Gotcha.
They're doing it
at Cubs games too and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing it at Guaranteed Rate Field for NIU. You know what's the day after that this year? Pokemon Go Day at Guaranteed Rate Field. I think we need to go to a White Sox game together.
What
All
day
the
is
Pokemon Go people. It's in like August. I absolutely think we need to make that happen. Like Pokemon Go in baseball. It just sounds so sick.
I assume they'd have like exclusive stuff.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It probably would be so fun. It would probably be really fun. Frank, the Frozen Four happened last week. Before we get into period number one, I want to point out Western Michigan, they won 6-2. And you picked BU, I picked Western Michigan, but I don't feel that was like a fair pick because I feel like I learned something that people are now maybe starting to come to the realization of. The last like 4 champions have been like elder teams. And BU, they have more talent. They have more guys going to the NHL. Nobody really from Western Michigan. Bonk, or not Bonk. I'm not Bonk. What's the guy's name? He's a Flyers prospect. Dylan was hyping his ass up.
Bonk.
He signed with the Flyers. He's their best. He was the best player on Western Michigan. And then the goalie, he signed with the Bump,
Bump.
Alex Bump. So and Devin Kaplan from BU, he also went to the Flyers, but the Western Michigan, the goalie signed with the Rockford Ice Hogs, and like he might play, but like they're just a team of 24-year-olds. Their blue line was older than the Blackhawks blue line against the Bruins last week, which is crazy. It was like almost 300 days older too on average. Again, BU has way more guys prepared to go to the NHL. They have higher recruiting. But Western Michigan, elder team, good coach, strong team game, guys who have been there 3-4 years. They took home the natty.
Yeah, I thought BU was going to win by multiple goals. I thought it was going to be a 6-2, potentially the other way. But hey, I talk about this all the time, especially in the NHL. You got a veteran team with experience, a little bit older. You're going to win against the younger guys who haven't been in this situation before, who don't know how to win these types of games. And hey, Western Michigan hasn't been in a national championship, so it's not like they've been in this situation before. But sometimes a little more experience and a little more years under your belt could go a long way. And they proved that, and they dominated. I mean, to me, that was just shocking to beat them by 4 goals. It was a very, very well done performance by Western Michigan. And that was so big for their school. So big for their school, for college hockey.
100%, and they're getting a new building, so that's going to be awesome. Millions and millions of dollars for this new building. Nobody from Western Michigan received any NIL money. That is correct. That probably will change in the coming years as they become like the new Quinnipiac, if you will, because Quinnipiac is they've run a similar like model. There's some college hockey news coming down the pipeline. You'll probably learn the actuality of it for realsies in the next handful of days, but they changed the rule where the CHL, and I'm still going to send it to period number 1, don't you worry. Mm-hmm. The leagues came together, and you are now allowed to leave the CHL, which is made up of the Quebec Major Junior League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Western League. You are now allowed to leave the CHL to go play college hockey once you are of age. And it sounds like Gavin McKenna is going to leave the Medicine Hat Tigers to go play college hockey. Frank, how electric would it be to have a prospect deemed generational come play college hockey?
That'd be pretty cool because a guy like him normally doesn't come and play college hockey. Like, could you imagine if Bedard came and played college hockey?
That's a great comparison.
That'd be electric. And it'd be interesting to see, like, because they're so potent. Like, Bedard was so potent in the WHL, and McKenna is so potent with the Medicine Hat Tigers that it's like, how would that look at the college level? Because it all equates differently. You might have 70 goals in the WHL or wherever you're playing, but you're not going to have 70 goals in the NHL when you come there. So how is that going to equate to college hockey? Are you going to be a 40 goal scorer? Are you going to be a 30 goal scorer? How is it going to change when you come play at a college level? I think that'll be really cool to see, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. It would be really cool. So the initial reports were Michigan. And now I'm hearing that North Dakota's in the mix. And they just lost.
Surprising either.
They just lost Braver, who transferred through NIL money in the transfer portal to BU. So, and you know how I found out about that? Check this out. His dad sent it to me. Yeah. Jimmy Boisvert.
Wow. That's funny.
Shout out to Jimmy. Let's go, Jimmy.
Jimmy B.
Jimmy B. Son's going to BU. He's going to be in the show with the Chicago Blackhawks soon enough. Love college hockey. If McKenna plays for one of those teams, I mean, Michigan will come to Wisconsin. So I'm biasly hoping he chooses Michigan so that I can see him in person next season. I will for sure go to Cole Center to see him.
To go to for college hockey.
100%. So we'll see how that goes. Frank, we're going to get into some playoff previews in the National Hockey League in period number 1. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We got sticks going home and this go to goal, and I'm not really good at singing songs, but it's the most wonderful time of the year. Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs, Frank. They begin tomorrow. We're gonna discuss the Western Conference in the first period. We're gonna discuss the Eastern Conference in the second period. We will quickly go over each series, give who we think is going to win, what we think of the teams, the good storylines. We're going to mow through these. Let's go. Starting off with the Shen battle, the battle between the St. Louis Blues and the Winnipeg Jets.
The Blues had probably the best second half out of any of the wild card teams. I mean, we kind of saw this narrative before in 2019, not to quite to the extent that we saw in 2019 because they were just way better at that moment than they were now. But they're very hot coming into the postseason this year again, and we all know what happens, VP, when the St. Louis Blues gets hot on the second half of the season. Since hiring Jim Montgomery, Blues have gone 34-18-7, and honestly, despite having 116 points for the Jets, winning the President's Trophy, having one of the best goaltenders in the league, Jordan Binnington is that type of guy that could steal you games, steal you series in the postseason. And I'm taking the Blues to take down the Jets in round 1 in 6 games.
Wow. I'm happy with the St. Louis Blues. I think they had a great run. Since they were in the same room as me at the Winter Classic, they've gone on an absolute run. So I like to take a little bit of credit for their success this season. So that's really cool. They traded for Fowler. They didn't give up. They gave offer sheets to Holloway and Broberg, and people were like, why the hell is St. Louis doing that? They should probably go through a rebuild. And that's just not true. They really don't need to do that. Those two guys have been amazing for them this season. Edmonton was unable to pay them, at least what they were deemed fair. And St. Louis was. They took them. Now they look like they're on bargoons. And they will play the Winnipeg Jets in the first round, who had the best record in the Western Conference. They won the President's Trophy for the first time in franchise history. I don't know why people aren't talking more about how this is the battle of the Shen brothers. But more importantly, it's the battle of the two goaltenders that faced each other in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship.
Yeah.
I think Winnipeg gets it done. I like the Blues. They have a chance in this series. I think every series in the West could go. No, there's one I really don't think has a chance to go one way. But this one is not one of those. It could go either way. I'm picking Winnipeg to get this done in 6 games, though. I like the Jets. I think they finally get. And again, they have the same reputation as the Leafs for some reason, even though this core has played in the conference finals.
Antonia calls it the known choker Jets.
But that's not totally true like it is for other teams. There's some truth to it, but lately it's true. But this core did play in the conference finals, a very close conference finals series against the Vegas Golden Knights a handful of years ago. So I would let it being a handful of years ago make it less meaningful to me if there was a lot of turnover. There's been some turnover, but there was Hellebuck, there was Scheifele, there was Little was there, but he's not here. Connor, there's just some. I think Morrissey was probably on that team, maybe. I don't know. It's Winnipeg. I mean, do I think they're going to win the cup? I don't think so, but maybe. I do think they get through the Blues in round number 1, 6 games. We're going to go to another series where I'd be a little surprised if we agreed. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. Frank, Jason Robertson out for game number 1 is considered week to week. They have been trash. They've lost 7 in a row going into the playoffs, 4 straight in regulation, where the Colorado Avalanche been one of the best teams in the NHL since the trade deadline. I'm very curious to see where your brain goes here.
Yeah, we're going to disagree here. Both of these teams are Stanley Cup contenders. It's a shame we're getting this matchup in the first round. I think this would be a sick Western Conference Finals matchup. Colorado, like you said, they're the hotter team since the trade deadline. They're 12-5-2. They averaged 3.42 goals per game, only giving up 2.42 goals against. Not only is Jason Robertson out, Miro Heiskanen will be sidelined early in the first round, which could pose a threat for the Dallas defense. That could be a huge problem. But I feel like the Dallas Stars are being undervalued a bit because of their injuries and uncertainties and how hot the Colorado Avalanche has been. At the end of the day, this team is very good. We were talking about them being a cup contender the entire year. I mean, they still have cup mentality. This is a completely different ballgame in the postseason. This is a Dallas Stars team who knows how to win series. They've beaten Vegas, one of the toughest teams to beat in a playoff series in the postseason. I mean, they know what to do, and it's just unfortunate that they're going up against Colorado, who's won a cup, who knows how to do the same thing. I think this series could go either way, but I'm going to stick with the Dallas Stars to get it done and get it done in 7 games.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm down on Dallas right now. I don't like the injuries. You can't be so forgiving for the things that are ailing Dallas, and then when we go to pick the Eastern Conference playoffs, give those exact same reasons on why you think a certain team in red is going to lose. I need consistency in my brain.
There's no consistency. Dallas is the different team.
Yeah, I think Colorado wins in 5. I was thinking sweep. Colorado's just so good right now. They are on fire. And Kale Daddy. Oh, has Kale Daddy been good? He's going to win the Norris Trophy. The Nate Dog, he's probably going to come second in MVP. Nietzsche has fit in like a glove. He's been better than Rantanen. I feel terrible for Dallas because this felt like a year. Next year, still, I mean, they're prime for the next 4. There's no doubt that they could win the cup in any of the next 4 years, including this year. I could be dead ass wrong and look dumb again, but I can't consciously see what I've seen from them in the last 3 weeks. They're limping into the playoffs, and teams that limp into the playoffs very rarely win that first round series. I can recall one. Florida kind of limped in, but they had like a goalie thing. Everybody was healthy. It was just a matter of like turning it on at the right time. I think if you took a top 3 leading scorer and the number 1 defenseman off of any team in the league, I'd pick them to lose in a series. So that applies to Colorado. If you took the Nate Dog and Kale off the team and Dallas was fully healthy, I'd pick Dallas in 5. So I don't know. I think Colorado gets it done. I'm leaning Colorado to win the cup.
Interesting.
So we're not going to give those picks today. Obviously, we gave them at the beginning of the season. But yeah, interesting. Can we make it 0-3 on agreeing with the Edmonton Oilers versus the Los Angeles Kings, Frank?
I don't know. I'm getting tired of seeing these two teams play each other in the playoffs, to be honest with you. So this is one of the many reasons I want to see the playoff format be redone. However, this time around, I think it's going to be a little bit different. Both of these teams are way different than what we've had in the past 3 seasons of their postseason meetings. The Kings have gotten much better, and this Oilers team is not as good as they were last year, making it to the Stanley Cup. Stuart Skinner's been horrible this season. He's probably the only goaltender going into the playoffs who's got a sub 9 goals against or 900 save percentage or whatever, save percentage. Yeah, he's got to be the only one. And on the other hand, Darcy Kemper's been sensational. Kings defense has been great.
Kemper might come in second for the Vezina.
I think the Kings are the hottest team coming into the postseason. They've ended their final 21 games going 17-4. I would not want to play the Kings if I was anyone right now. I think the Kings win this game and they win this series in 6 games.
I'm more skeptical than I've ever been when these two teams met. The Kings are good. They suffocate you. They play the right way. You know my theory on hockey. You can go a long way if you play the right way in all 3 zones. And the Kings do that. And that 17-4, I remember I was doing a Spaces on Twitter with one of my Kings friends that I met through the years, through Fansided and all that. I joined his space. It was right after the Hawks gave him a shellacking at United Center. And I was on my way home from the game. And I joined the space and talked over the radio like I was on the phone, kind of. And I was like, the things are about to turn around for the Kings. The way the Hawks shellacked them in that game, I was like, there's no way they don't do something here. There's no way they don't and sure as shit, 17-4 from that moment on. It's absolutely crazy what they've done. And I don't care. I'm going to pick the Edmonton Oilers, and here's why. Playoff, we go through this every year. Everyone wants to pick the Kings. They're stronger defensively, blah, blah, blah. Mick Dragon and Mr. Rocket Richard himself, Leon Draisaitl, take their game to another level in the playoffs. And McDavid, he came back with 3 games to go at 90 points. I don't think McDavid is going to be the first year he doesn't get to 100. Obviously, injury's going to impact that. Nobody's going to, blame him that he didn't get to 100. He only played in 60 games. Not so fast for you. He goes out and has 3 points in one game, 5 points in another game, 2 points in one game. McDavid reaches the 100-point mark. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane that he was able to do that, and he is back. He is in playoff mode. Jeff Skinner has never played in the playoffs in his NHL career. He is the current active player with the most games played without an appearance in the playoffs. I mean, going from the bad version of the Hurricanes to Buffalo, that'll do it to you. It's not his fault. He's been a really good player in the NHL, and I have the feeling he's going to be fired up. We've seen Arvidsson be great in the playoffs when he was with Nashville and LA. I think Edmonton's going to get it done in 7 games. It's going to be the closest one out of the 4 series that they've played against each other. They'll probably play each other again next year. The Kings will get them one of these years. I'm just not sure that this is the year. We'll see. I got Oilers in 7. And then that leaves us to our final series of the Western Conference first round. One of these games starts at 10 o'clock our time. Next week.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe it is. No, it's not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
I forget what day. But it's the Minnesota Wild and the Vegas Golden Knights. I love the Wild, man. But I have a feeling we do agree on this one.
Is this the first one we agree on?
Probably, yeah. Will it be the last? There's a chance it's the last.
Maybe. I'd have to look over the other games. But yeah, so these two teams, they don't have a lot of playoff experience against one another. They only met once, and that was in the 2021 postseason, where the Knights won in 7 games. It was very close. The season series this year was 3-0 in favor of Vegas, but that's because Minnesota, they haven't been healthy most of the year. Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson-Ek both missed a combined total of 3 months between the two of them. But both are back in the lineup. Gustafson's been very good this season. When the Wild are healthy, like they are coming into the series, they're a very strong team. I just don't see the Wild taking down the Knights, who are probably one of the best playoff teams we've seen since they have come into the league. I'm taking the Knights to win this series in 5 games.
We agree completely. I'm going Knights in 5 games. Jack Aces is having one of the best seasons of his career. I was going to bring this up. He's the best player I've ever seen play college hockey, Jack Eichel. So we'll see if he's able to lead them to another cup. I definitely think they have the first round series that they can kind of get it done. Minnesota and Vegas, sneaky playoff rivals. This is like the 3rd or 4th time they've played each other in the playoffs.
I just told you it was the first, or the second.
Is it? Oh,
they met once in 2021.
What am I thinking of then? Well,
because the Wild, didn't they miss the playoffs a couple years in a row?
Yeah, I was actually checking a stat when you were talking. So, yeah, I missed you say that. My apologies.
They've only met once.
This is only the second time? Okay.
And it went to 7 games.
It did?
In 2021. You could look it up to double check.
No, you're probably right. I don't remember it going 7. I
Yeah.
don't remember them ever having a 7-game series. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Zach Parisi would have been on that team, so that means I watched every game. Um, so yeah, Vegas, they're so good from top to bottom. I mean, and they got Theodore back,
Yeah.
and it's a good situation over there in Vegas. What a cutthroat team. I mean, they just keep winning, and they're going to continue to be good for a long time. I used to think they might like fall off, but every time they get close to falling off, they do something crazy that like gets
I
them
know.
back in. Now they have Hannafin, Petrangelo, Theodore. I mean, is there a better 1, 2, 3 on D in the league? If yes, their Vegas is in the team photo. Eichel and Hurdle's back. Stone. I mean, this team is just unbelievable. Would not shock me if they win the cup. And they don't have to go through a gauntlet to get there like Colorado, like Dallas, like Winnipeg.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes for them. Frank, we are going to move this party from the western side of the United States and Canada to the eastern side of the United States and Canada in period number 2. Welcome to period 2, Frank. We're going to go over the Eastern Conference postseason. You got the Montreal Canadiens, who were just unbelievable. You talked about hot wild card teams going into the playoffs. I think the Blues are in the conversation. The Blues in their final 10 games were 7-2-1. Montreal was 7-1-2, so basically the exact same thing.
Mhm.
I mean, just absolute brilliance going into the postseason, and then Washington all season long. Just this great year. The OV goal chase obviously gave them some extra juice down the stretch that they might have not had otherwise, being so good early in the season. Sometimes those teams at the top, they coast a little bit. That wasn't an option for Washington because they had to get through the OV goal chase. Every single one of their games was an event from the end of the Four Nations face-off to now, basically.
Yeah.
Because even towards the end of the season, he's 3 away from 900. He scored one last night. I think yesterday I stopped tweeting every single goal of his now that the record's broken. But what was yesterday? That had to be 898. So like
Yeah, I think
it's either 898 or 897.
Seven, I think.
So next year, within the first week of the season, he'll break the record. He'll probably have a hat trick on opening night to get to 900. Be the first player to ever reach 900 goals in the National Hockey League. So I don't know if there's a come down from that. I don't know if they ride from that. What are you picking in this series between the two teams whose coaches probably come first and second in Coach of the Year Jack Adams race?
Yeah, so the Montreal Canadiens, they prove they're no joke. They're feisty, but they're still very young with a lot to learn, especially that they're playing such a veteran team like the Washington Capitals and experienced team like they are. I think the Montreal Canadiens would have to play perfect hockey every game to beat the Washington Capitals, and even then I see them only potentially winning the series in 7 games, if that. There's just so much buzz around the Capitals this year that it feels like the Capitals could be the team of destiny after Ovechkin breaking Gretzky's goal record. I don't see the Canadiens beating a team like the Capitals in a 7-game series. They're too young. They have a lot to learn. I'm taking the Capitals to win in 5 games, and it's just kind of the same as like BU losing to Western Michigan. I mean, it's just you got to pay your dues, and I think Capitals beat them fairly easy.
The Montreal Canadiens are the youngest team by average age to ever make the Stanley Cup playoffs.
There you go.
Very interesting. I had every prediction in my head ready except this one. I told myself I'm going to make it last second live on air because I have everyone written down except this one. I don't know. Because I could see Washington going on this great run after this fun season that they've had, OV breaking the record. I also see like a come down. And like we've seen a little bit of a come down in their regular season play to end the season. But they smoked Pittsburgh in the final game of the season. OV had a goal. Sidney had a goal. I mean, it was an event. Capitals Penguins yesterday. It kind of felt like an old school Capitals Penguins game. Montreal got it done. I think. Oh my God, dude. I have no idea.
Got to pick, VP.
I know it shouldn't be this hard between a team that won the conference and the final wildcard team. I'm picking Montreal. Montreal's they're gonna go into. They need one out of the first two in Washington, and then you come home to the Bell Center, which is absolutely the best playoff atmosphere in the National Hockey League. You know what I learned about the Bell Center? I haven't been there, but I was talking to Ben Pope maybe like a couple months ago. I asked him, "What's your favorite building to go to?" As a traveling writer. He told me Montreal. You know how you've been in the third level at the United Center, right? The 300 level. I know your most recent game, you had like those sick seats so you know both. You know the difference between both. When you walk down the 100 level bowl at the United Center, it's a nice, easy cruise walking down. You don't feel anything in your legs. And the United Center's 300 level, you have to like go up those steep steps. You have to literally put a little thigh into it to go up those stairs. It's like that on all three levels at the Bell Center, apparently. And so it goes up rather than out. Yeah. So the fans are like right on top of you. And I need to get to a game in the Montreal. I almost called it the Forum. I wasn't even alive when the Forum was.
I picture that like the Goblet of Fire when they're in the stadium.
Yeah.
They're literally stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, exactly. It comes out like a little bit obviously like the 300 level at the UC, but like, I can't even imagine. We need to get to Montreal and have some poutine and watch the Habs. 7 Montreal over Washington in 7. I'll say 6 because if it goes back to Washington for game 7, I'd have a hard time thinking the Caps wouldn't get it done at home. So Montreal in 6, they win it at home in game 6. Not confident. So we move on over. So the next two series we're going to talk about have geographical implications that are just awesome. Like so cool. Of course, I'm talking about we will kick off with the Battle of Florida for the second year in a row. Or is it the third year in a row? Second year in the first round between Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Panthers. What do you got for me?
So, as crazy as this may sound, I think Tampa Bay's roster is one of the best rosters we've seen out of this team since they won the Cup. And that's saying a lot after losing their captain and Lightning legend Steven Stamkos. Adding Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde, those were huge improvements to their depth. And we don't know how Matthew Tkachuk is going to perform after playing limited time in the second half of the season. I think the Lightning are hungry for revenge after Florida beat them. And it was kind of like, it almost felt like the passing of the torch between the Florida teams. But if there's one goalie I don't want to face in the postseason, it's Andrei Vasilevsky. Very dangerous goalie in the postseason. I don't care if this guy comes out and had a save percentage in the 690s in the regular season. Come postseason time, he's locked in. He's locked down. I'm going with the Lightning to beat the Panthers in 6 games and get some revenge.
Okay. Interesting. We agree. We totally agree. I got Tampa Bay winning. Tampa Bay could get to the Cup. I'm looking at all the teams in the East. I'm like, who's going to take them down in 7 games? I don't know. There's one obvious one for me that could, but Florida's another one that could. It wouldn't shock me if Florida wins this series. Barkov looks healthy. Tkachuk comes back. Whatever the case may be. Ekblad's healthy. Bobrovsky stands on his head. They won the Cup last year. They were in the Cup the year before. I just think their offseason is going to be 2 months longer than it's been the last handful of years. Because I'm going to give Tampa Bay the edge. I'm going to go Tampa Bay in 5. I think Tampa Bay gets it done. Like they really get it done. Yeah. Braden Point, monster year. Hagel, he was special in the Four Nations face-off. He's a playoff caliber guy. Sorelli even made Team Canada. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning are so stacked. Gensel's been great. He's been great in the playoffs. He led the playoffs in goals as a rookie. when his team
he's good.
around him was real good. Vasilevsky's a dog. Victor Hedman still has got it. Having Ryan McDonough back has paid dividends for them. McDonut. If McDonald's ever has donuts that aren't Krispy Kreme, McDonut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. I think Tampa Bay gets it done. I'm going to give them Tampa Bay in 5.
Wow, it's a rarity that we agree.
Yeah, I mean, shit. That's not good. Florida in 4. The next one, geographical meaning, the Battle of Ontario between the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto
We ain't
Maple
agreeing
Leafs.
here.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it, mother. Go ahead.
Am I crazy?
Please do.
Am I
Yes.
crazy for thinking the
Yes,
Ottawa Senators
you
could beat the
don't
Toronto
learn your
Maple
lesson
Leafs?
ever. You don't learn your lesson. You don't
A
listen to
team
me.
that is
I have unlimited hockey knowledge.
little to
You
none
don't listen to me.
experience in the playoffs with their current group of players. I might be crazy, but I'm taking them to win this series, VP, against the Maple Leafs. Linus Ullmark, he's got plenty of experience in the net. This is the Battle of Ontario. Playoffs and big rivalries. The one rule with that, you throw the records out the window. You forget about everything around you. Let's also not forget that despite how good the Maple Leafs have been over the past 2 years and how bad the Senators have been over the past couple years, Ottawa has absolutely dominated them, owning a 6-1 record against them over the last 2 years. They love this series, and it's just a huge rivalry series that nothing else matters. But this is a matchup that Ottawa wants to see, I think, in the first round. They're happy they drew the Maple Leafs. I think it's going to be a very fun series, but I think the Senators get it done in 6 games. Come on, lay it in me. Let's hear it, VP.
I mean, I just don't know what to say at this point. Your Leafs hatred, you let Joey's Bruins last place ass influence you way too much in this life. You copied his hair, you copied his Leaf hate, you copied his love for microphones. I mean, you were a picky eater like him when you were younger. Now I'm the picky eater. It's crazy to me, the disrespect that you give the Toronto Maple Leafs year in and year out, especially knowing that this is the best Leafs team that we've seen
every year
in our lifetime. Frank, this isn't the best Leafs team of our lifetime?
But we hear it every year.
But is this the best?
Yeah.
I think last year's would be the second best in our lifetime.
That's what I didn't say. We hear it every year.
The year before they won a series over Tampa. Who'd they lose to last year?
Was it the Panthers? I don't remember.
It was the Bruins. Game 7, Pasta. They were down 3-1 in the series. They came all the way back, went to overtime of Game 7, and Pasta shoved a spear in there. And I didn't pick the Leafs to beat the Bruins. That's their demon. They can't slay the dragon. Well, guess what? The dragon's already dead and buried in the cave in last place. Top 5 lottery odds.
You sound like Jesse Palmer from The Bachelor. This is the most dramatic season finale of The Bachelorette we've ever had. This is the best Leafs team we ever had, but they just don't get it done. It might be facts. Facts are facts. It might be the best Leafs team we ever had, but they don't get it done. They don't get it done. It's just, I don't understand what's going on with this team. I want to be able to say the Leafs can make a deep run. I can't.
Every time the Leafs lose a playoff series in the Auston Matthews era, the team that beats them goes on to either win the cup or win the East and play in the cup, except for last year. The year before, they lose to Florida. They go to the cup. They lose to the Bruins in 2019. They go to the cup. I forget. They lost to Columbus in the bubble. That don't count.
So I got to ask you something.
They lost to Montreal in 21. They went to the cup. Right. In Matthews' rookie year, they lost to Washington. They won the cup.
So do you think if Ottawa beats them, they're going to the cup?
That's why I don't think they lose to Ottawa.
Would this be an eye-opener to you?
If the Toronto Maple Leafs lose to the Ottawa Senators, I will never pick them in the playoffs ever again.
What would you do if they lose to the Senators and get blown out in the next round?
Then I'm out. They need a trade.
Even if next year we got the best Leafs team, they picked on Leon Draisaitl and they stacked it, and this is the best team we've seen. Are you out on them? Or are you still you're in?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to pull you over. I feel like I've pulled.
There's nothing to pull over. I've been honest about the Leafs this whole time.
I get that.
I've never lied. I picked against them last year. They lost. I picked the year before. I picked them. They did win. Like I've never lied about the Leafs. I've never given disingenuous answers when talking about I've never given disingenuous answers when I talk about anything hockey related. I really don't show bias too much. Wait till we talk about the next series. I don't really ever show my bias. I tell the truth. I want the Blackhawks to be great. I tell you when I don't think they're going to be. I tell you when I don't want them to win the lottery so they can win it the following year. And they did. You wanted who would have been 4th overall in 2020? You wanted Shane Wright. Okay, you wanted Shane Wright more than Connor Bedard. I told you no. You do not want Shane Wright more than Connor Bedard. You do not want Logan Cooley more than Connor Bedard. You didn't listen to me. But I bet you're sure happy the Blackhawks did.
Yeah.
I try not to give disingenuous answers on the show. These are takes that are out there. When I talk about the Leafs, I shoot you straight, Frank. I shoot you straight. And Matthews all year, he's disappointed with 33 goals because that's freaking 30, almost 40 less than he had last year, which is crazy. There was a wrist injury. He missed some time. I also think he played unhealthy in the December, January area. And unhealthy, like his wrist was bothering him, and his obvious strength is his wrist shot. He's back. He's back to scoring basically every game. Will Nye, the hockey guy, has been unreal this year. Marner's in a contract year. You don't think he wants to go light up the playoffs right now, knowing that it could line his pockets with another 2-3 million, depending on how well he does? I think Marner could really like show off some stuff.
They just can't get it done though. They could want to do this all they want. They can't.
Well, I'm not telling you they're winning the cup yet. We'll see who they play in the next round and how they play in this round if they win. I think they sweep the Ottawa Senators.
That just seems impossible in a rivalry series. I don't care who it was.
Ottawa just doesn't. I don't think Brady's fully healthy.
Brady's a nut in these types of games. Look how he was in the Four Nations face-off.
Who would you rather have, Stolarz or this year's version of Allmark? Don't think Bruins Allmark. Don't think Bruins Allmark. Think of Allmark with the 890 save. Think of Allmark with the 890 save percentage for the Senators this year.
Stolarz has been better. Does he have playoff experience? Has he played in the postseason?
Probably.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know either, to be honest with you.
Allmark has a lot.
And he got shellacked. He was stone cold in the playoffs 2 years ago when the Bruins choked to Florida.
Yeah, but that's, we also had poor coaching decisions on their end. I don't like the whole switching or if a guy's hot, no, you switch. I don't care if he's hot.
Well, I'm not going to argue that, of course.
We got some poor coaching from Jimmy Boy over there, but
I'm not going to argue that. That is true. But Woll had a 909 save percentage. Stolarz led the National Hockey League in 926 save percentage.
He was sensational.
Sensational is an understatement. So Anton Forsberg had a 901 with Ottawa, where I don't even see Allmark. 910. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
He's not a bad goalie.
No, he's not a bad goalie. I'm not pooing on Allmark overall.
There's just no way. There's a sweep.
So
there's no way.
Whose goaltending would you take?
Probably. I'd have to go with the Leafs.
Okay.
I'm not saying. The Leafs on paper are better in almost every way. I'm not saying that.
There's one area Ottawa has like a distinct advantage.
You throw that out the window in a rivalry series this big. When you have a name for the series, when two teams play, you throw everything else out the window, and we're dialed in.
As a battle of the Hudson River rivalry guy, my favorite team, the Devils, when they play the Rangers. And I get that. I hear where you're coming from on that. Oh, I can't wait for Sunday night. Oh, I can't wait. That's the series I'm most excited for.
The playoffs
By
start tomorrow, right?
far. Huh?
Do the playoffs start tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
Winnipeg hosts the Blues at 5 p.m. our
Two
time, and
games.
Dallas. Yeah, just 2 games.
Yeah.
Dallas hosts Colorado. 2 gems tomorrow too. But my favorite series starts Sunday night. Yeah, Leafs in 4. We'll see. We will see. Ooh. There's one area Ottawa has an advantage. Jake Sanderson would be Toronto's number 1 defenseman. And it's not really close. I like Morgan Riley, right? I like the D that they have in Toronto. Tanev has had a great year. Toronto's good on defense. It's the best defense Austin Matthews has ever had. Sanderson would be the number 1 D in Toronto if he were on that team. So that's where Ottawa has the one advantage. But would you rather have Matthews or Brady Tkachuk? Would you rather have Nylander or Brady Tkachuk? Marner or Brady Tkachuk? You can even argue Tavares for this year. Now, if Brady Tkachuk ever gets traded to the New Jersey Devils because his wife is from New Jersey, then I'll think Tkachuk is better than all those guys. But I'm going with the Leafs in 4, maybe 5. But on paper, I'll throw 4. I'm throwing the 4 burger at you. There's always one sweep. Frank, the last series of the postseason. I'm so excited to hear your rationale in this series. Everything that didn't apply to the Leafs or the Stars is totally for sure going to apply to the New Jersey Devils in this series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Go ahead.
It's different, VP. It's very unfortunate what the injuries have done to the New Jersey Devils. Jack Hughes is so important to the Devils. When we compare other guys, they're important, but not as important as Jack Hughes is to the Devils. Devils have been 9-10-1 since he's gone down. They're not even scoring. They have 2.75 goals per game during that span. They're not only that, but Siegenthaler, huge blow to the defense. Huge blow. They're not winning. They're not scoring. They have a tough first round draw. Carolina Hurricanes, that's a bad first round draw.
They're frauds too, but
they might be, but it's in this situation that's a tough first round draw because the Hurricanes are used to winning these early round series in the postseason. This isn't the best Carolina Hurricanes team we've seen in recent memory. They're not overly great, but is this team good
lately?
Right, but is this team good enough to at least feed on an injured Devils team? Yeah, they are. I got the Hurricanes winning this series in 5 games. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the Devils, but
everybody laughed at me when Jeremy Colleton got fired by the Blackhawks. I said he'll be a coach in the NHL again one day. He replaced Quenneville in an impossible situation, sexual assault, bad contracts, bad Seth Jones, Taves and Kane in the swan songs of their Blackhawks tenure. He wasn't great. I hated the way they defended, and I hated their power play setup. Hated it. But Jeremy Colleton, it wasn't their power play setup that I hated. I hated their penalty kill. Power play was outstanding. It was the best power play of the Taves Kane era. Better than with Joel. Joel's kind of crappy at that. Those Joel teams weren't great on the power play. He comes to New Jersey. I say it's a great hire. Everyone laughs at me. Run the power play as an assistant coach. Well, by the end of the season, after 82 games, a whopping 28.2% on the power play, top 3 in the NHL. They were 0.1 behind Vegas for second and 0.7 behind the Jets for first. They're also the only team in the National Hockey League who was top 3 in power play and penalty kill. 82.7 on the penalty kill. The only problem, number 1, is the Carolina Hurricanes, who the New Jersey Devils face in the first round. So it'll be an elite power play against an elite penalty kill. The Hurricanes power play, 25th in the league, 18.7%. So I'm not sure the Hurricanes are going to score a ton of power play goals against the New Jersey Devils. The Devils power play got better in the absence of Jack Hughes based on percentage. They've scored a ton of power play goals since he got hurt. Their even strength scoring has been an issue. I think losing Jack Hughes really, really hurts. And Siegenthaler, by a lot of under-the-hood metrics, was the best defensive defenseman in the NHL before his injury. after a bad year last year. He really bounced back well this year. So I don't know what to think of him going forward after this season, coming into next year if he's healthy. So we'll see on that. The only way the New Jersey Devils can win this series is if Jacob Markstrom stands on his head and they win the special teams battle to a degree that allows them to overcome a Hurricanes team that also stinks. The Metropolitan Division was so bad that 3 teams had to have north of 90 points because they just play all the even worse Metro teams. And that happened to be the Devils and the Hurricanes. I mean, going into the playoffs, actually, in their last 10 games, the Devils were actually better. They were 5-5-0, just the definition of mid going into the playoffs. And the Hurricanes were 3-6-1 going into the playoffs, losers of 3
great.
straight. So even though the Devils don't have a 0% chance the way some people are. There's only one team to me that has a 0% chance in their series, and that's the Wild. If the Devils won this series, I wouldn't be too surprised. Due to not having a game breaker offensively, like Jack Hughes in the lineup, I would be picking the Devils if Jack Hughes were playing.
I think I would too. Yeah.
I would absolutely be picking the Devils.
The Hurricanes are not great right now.
The Devils have had a tough second half. They made the playoffs because of their first half. That much is clear. They were the 3rd team in the league in the President's Trophy race on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then they come out of the Christmas break on December 27th and blow out the Hurricanes at the Rock. And then things started to trickle down from there. I remember the night of the Winter Classic, I got home from Wrigley Field, and they blew a game against Anaheim, and it was all downhill from there.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I do think they have the core of a wagon, like in the future. Luke Hughes has been unbelievable since the Four Nations face-off ended. He's over point per game as a defenseman who's 20. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for them. I just don't see them getting it done in this series against the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm so wrong because I'm so tired of everyone disrespecting them as if the Hurricanes are this freaking wagon. You know, they've been cold too. They just don't have a plethora. They don't have their best defensive defenseman and their best overall forward on the shelf. So people are more likely to pick the Hurricanes. And there's something lovable about the Hurricanes. I really don't get why. And there's something hateable about the Devils in a lot of people's minds. Again, don't know why. He sure is such a sweetie. Bratt is such a sweetie. Everyone loves Luke Hughes' baby face. I don't really understand what makes them so hateable in a lot of. Maybe it's me running my mouth on Twitter all the time. But I got the Hurricanes winning this in 6. I think they win it in 6. But if the Devils steal one in Raleigh, and they come back to Newark 1-1, I'll have a little bit of hope. I will tell you that much for free. I won't say, oh, it's over if they steal one. Home field advantage, back to the Devils. No, I won't feel that way. But if they steal one in Raleigh, I think they will have a puncher's chance.
Okay, that's fair.
Heischer and Bratt have been or Heischer and Hamilton have been good in the playoffs in their life. So we'll see how it goes from there. I'm excited to see how it goes. Frank, that's the postseason. That's all the series. We will touch on some really quickly. We'll touch on some awards that have been clinched in the National Hockey League in period number 3. Welcome to period 3. Frank, Leon Draisaitl has won the Rocket Richard by scoring a total of 53 goals. 52 goals, excuse me. Nikita Kucherov won the Art Ross Trophy as the league's leading scorer with 121 points. And Connor Hellebuck won the William M. Jennings Trophy for relinquishing the fewest amount of goals in the National Hockey League. And because he played a majority of, the backup didn't play over 25 games, Hellebuck gets the goalie award.
We saw this last
year, just to his credit. Like, you might remember when Corey Crawford won it, he split it with Ray Emery.
Yeah.
Because Emery, RIP Ray Emery, had to, he played enough games to also get his name on the trophy. So, Frank, what stands out to you from these awards, and what do you think about these 3 guys?
Well, I mean, the Hellebuck thing, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. He's been one of the best goaltenders that we've gotten to witness in our lifetime. The Rocket Richard for Leon Draisaitl, 52 goals. Scoring, like we have touched on many of the podcasts we've done, has been down. 52 goals is not something lately we'd expect to see a Rocket Richard winner win the trophy with. But not only that, but he also set a single season league record with 6 overtime goals this season. He was tied for first with game winning goals with 11. So, I mean, that just proves how clutch Leon Draisaitl is. Maybe that clutchness will help them, try to defeat the Los Angeles Kings in the first round of the playoffs. But nonetheless, 52 goals on the lower side lately of a Rocket Richard winner. And then obviously Nikita Kucherov, back-to-back years winning the Art Ross. I don't know how often that happens. It probably happens more often than we think because the guys who normally score a lot of points usually come back and score a lot of points. Nikita Kucherov, though, surprised. It's a bit of surprise that he won it again. 37 goals, 84 assists, 121 points. Once again, 20 plus points less than what we saw last year with the scoring drought this year. But well deserved because the Lightning, they're beasts, man.
I know that sometimes in general, American and Canadian media, they favor American and Canadian guys. They even favor European guys, like non-Russian European guys, sometimes. For some reason, Russian guys are almost like put in their own category. Sometimes it feels like everyone compares Demidov to Kaprizov and Kucherov. I wonder why. But in actuality, you can compare him to like Patrick Kane or some other guy with 6 silky hands. We're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations when Nikita Kucherov retires in terms of where he ranks on all-time players, because whose career would you rather have, Kucherov or Kane? It's close. It's closer than people. Listen, Kane won 3 cups. Kucherov won 2. He's been in 4 finals. If they get that 3rd cup, Kane has nothing. And I'm not trying to pick on Kane. Patrick Kane will have a jersey retired. He'll have a statue in Chicago. I picked him randomly because he's a winger, and not Russian. He was the first one that came to mind that was like super elite. Is Kucherov better all time than Marner? Absolutely. Eichel.
Kucherov's very good.
Kucherov is one of the best players ever. Is he better in his career than Giroux? Absolutely. This is his 3rd Art Ross. It's going to be his 2nd Hart Trophy.
I kind of lost some respect for him, though, after that All-Star game.
Oh, please.
I mean, you can say it all you want.
It was annoying.
Stuff like that, like, don't be a clown.
Okay, that was a clown move. Okay. He had one clown move. He is an all-time great player.
He's a good hockey player. I feel like off the ice, though,
it was bogus that he gave that little effort at the All-Star game once. He's been an All-Star 5 times.
It just rubbed me the wrong way.
Some uncomfortable conversations will be had when he retires. He will win the MVP. He probably should have won it last year. I'm happy the Nate Dogg got one. But he's right there with the Nate Dogg in terms of offensive superstar in the NHL right now. Same thing with Draisaitl. Same thing with McDavid. Kucherov's the man. He's so good. It's unbelievable. He went on to be better than I thought he would. And when we talk about the greatest Lightning players ever, everyone's going to want to say Stamkos or Hedman or Vasilevsky. The answer might be Kucherov. Yep. He is an absolute beast. And scoring was down in the NHL this year. There were only 6 guys who reached 100 points. Only 11 reached 90. So scoring was way down this year. I don't know if it's going to be down for the foreseeable future. But that would be high 5 years ago. We kind of, for the last 5 years, went on a run of scoring being way up. But you know what's crazy about scoring being up this year or down this year? So is save percentage.
Yep.
Save percentage is way down. So, like, the goalies are getting worse, or the goalies are putting up worse numbers, but the forwards aren't scoring as much. Why? I think that's because every team now is so good at suffocating you and making it hard to get shots on net. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm observing so far. But man, what a year for Draisaitl, Kucherov, and Hellebuck. Um, Frank, when Matthew scored 50 a couple years ago, he was the first guy since Ovechkin did it like 10 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have like 3 or 4 50 guys a year, it seems like. This year we only had one.
It's definitely down, like I said. Yeah, it's,
Ovechkin probably gets close to 60 though if he stays healthy this year. Which is just absolutely insane. And Frankie thinks he's having 20 next year. Frank, that's a great little segment there on the 3 awards that were clinched in the NHL. And we will end the show with America's favorite podcast segment of the week, Breaking Bets.
Where's my money, bitch?
Where's my money? Antonio says in the chat, NHL All-Star is a fucking joke. Absolutely it is. That's why the Four Nations face-off really pumped some juice into the off break this year. And Kucherov, yeah, I tweeted. I had a good tweet last year when he did that. I hated it. You go to the All-Star game, but that doesn't take anything away from anything. He next year he will get his 1,000th point with his 6th point of the season, and it will be he's just a tick over 800 games played, and he's 32 years old.
That has nothing to do with how good he is. He seems like a sleazebag off the ice. You could be the best hockey player there is, but
well, I've actually heard he's an incredibly good dude.
Well,
and remember when they won the cup and he did the press conference with his shirt off and a beer? That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe one day I'll get to meet the guy and be like, hey, this guy's sick. But right now, I don't know.
Yeah, you're mad because it annoyed me that night. I remember I tweeted about it, something mean about him. But I don't know. He's special, man. He could get to 1,500 points.
Could be.
If he gets to 1,500 points, I mean, he's already going to the Hall of Fame. He could retire tomorrow and go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's very good. I like Kucherov as a hockey player.
100%. And Winger's putting up the numbers he does. Patrick Kane and Kucherov. Can you name another? Kaprizov might reach that apex, but other than those 3,
wingers, yeah, I don't know.
Like Giroux turned into a winger, Stamkos turned into a winger, but they were centers by nature. Most wingers are like 30, 40 goals, but not capping out much more than 80 points. Every single year, Kucherov is a lock for 80 assists. And how many goals he scores will depend on how many points he has overall. So we'll see what's next on the docket for him. And Draisaitl too. Just keep scoring goals 50-50, man, every year. No matter what. He's one of the best passers in the NHL. And Frank, you kind of opened my eyes a little bit on Draisaitl's passing abilities.
Oh, he's so good.
Because you called him a top 5 passer. I'm like, I never really thought about that. But he does have 50-plus assists every year. But I thought of him more as like a shooter. Because every year he has 50.
I think he could be argued as the best passer.
He very well could be argued as the best passer. And he could be argued as the best shooter, too. I would give the edge to McDavid on passing and maybe Kucherov. But Draisaitl's right there. He's so good at this.
He's clutch.
Well, do you think what makes him such a good passer is deception? The guy had 53 goals. He could shoot one in too. So if he makes it look like he's going to shoot and sends a beautiful pass instead, that's very deceptive for a goalie.
Right.
And so, I mean, Kucherov has kind of the same thing. He had 37 goals. It's not a measly amount by any means. So I wonder if the same thing applies to him. Their passing is influenced by how good of shooters they are. Frank, I'm going to finally be quiet and let you go with America's favorite podcast segment of the week, Breaking Bets.
No worries, VP. We're going to go with a hockey series pick between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. I love the price for the Kings.
A future pick for Frankie? Holy!
It's only happened a couple times. We did it for March Madness, and the March Madness pick, the futures pick, won, taking Florida to win it all. So if you followed the futures pick the last time I gave one out, you ended up hitting it. Now we're doing another futures pick. Kings to win the series against the Edmonton Oilers for 5 units at plus 115. Very good price on the Kings, and I think we are getting such a good price because how much Edmonton has owned the Kings the past few years and throughout the postseason. Edmonton has the better offense. Yeah, no duh. I just really think this year is going to be different. I think this Kings team has been no joke. Like I said earlier, they're the hottest team coming into the postseason. I don't trust Stuart Skinner, and I'm sure as heck not going to trust him against the Kings the way he's played against them all year. Kings have dominated the regular season series. They're ready for the Edmonton Oilers. Don't overthink this one. Yes, the Edmonton Oilers better offense. Yes, they've proved more of the Edmonton Oilers recently, but the Kings are winning this series. Los Angeles Kings win the series plus 115 for 5 units. Then my other pick, got to give some love to the NBA here. Got the Miami Heat against the Atlanta Hawks. It's the last of the play-in games. The Heat absolutely destroyed the Chicago Bulls so bad. They're 1 win away from claiming the 8th seed in the East with this final play-in game. For some reason, the Heat thrive in these play-in games the years they have gotten to play in them, and they just have that winning mentality when coming into the playoffs. They didn't just beat the Bulls. They completely cooked them, and the Bulls were very hot coming into the postseason. Kobe White was sensational the second half of the NBA season. This is a Heat team that looked completely different than their 37-45 record suggests. At the end of the day, the winner of this game between the Hawks and the Heat are going to get most likely swept by the Cavs in the first round anyway. But the Heat can have their fun for now against the Hawks and make another postseason berth. But they're not going to go anywhere after that. But the Heat take down the Hawks tonight. Heat money line minus 112. Bet to win 2 units. Those are my 2 picks for you this week.
Very good, Frank. Outstanding picks. America's favorite podcast segment of the week. Man, the Stanley Cup playoffs are here. They are here and they are glorious.
Yep.
Pick to win. Huh? Quick pick for the cup right now. One team.
That is so hard.
Just name one. Name one.
The Capitals.
Okay.
I don't know if that's who I will end up picking. But quick pick, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And hey, maybe that's what I should do if that's my
Hawks win the first overall pick. Misa, Hagens, Martone, or Schaefer?
Martone.
Okay. Been reading Tab a little bit lately.
Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
Tab is like all in on Martone.
Well,
I would pick Misa.
I think I'm away from Hagens. I think originally it was Hagens. I'm away from him now, I think.
Well, it depends. It does depend on what you think of Bedard and what you think of Korchinski long term. I mean, adding Schaefer to that defense would be problem for Schaefer is he's hardly played this year. Are we over-evaluating him?
No.
Are we under-evaluating him?
I think Schaefer's good. Very good.
He's good. Yeah, he just has hardly played. It's like in COVID when we didn't see any of the guys play going into their draft.
And that's why I don't think he'll go high because teams don't know much about him. What do you
see, I think if the Sharks win the lottery, they take him with the number 1 pick.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now on DraftKings, the only bet you can make is Hagens versus the field, and the field is like minus 6,000.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Because it's not going to be Hagens.
Yeah, although it would be funny if the Sharks took Hagens first overall or second overall or third overall because Hagens would play with Will Smith, who Hagens stepped into that line with Perreault and Leonard in Will Smith's spot and basically just completely replaced him perfectly. Fit right in. I don't think Hagens fell off. I think the other 3 rose to me. I thought Hagens was noticeable in the World Juniors. He wasn't as noticeable in the tournament. So I would take Misa if I were the Blackhawks. This is a very team-specific draft. I don't want the Blackhawks to win the lottery, though, because I'm not positive they'll be great next year. I think they could be better. They could be Montreal. Wouldn't shock me. I also think they could be bottom 5 again, and you don't want to be bottom 5 and not have a chance at McKenna.
But I thought if you win it, they didn't win it the year before, remember?
Yeah, but they won it with Bedard's year. And you
Yeah,
can't
but that
win it.
didn't count. You said they didn't
I
move
think
up.
I'm wrong about that. I
Oh.
think it did count. I think if the Hawks win the lottery and pick first, they cannot pick it next year. I think. I'll triple check. I'll have that answer next show. So, well, Frank, very good show. Thank you. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody who listens. We appreciate you. Make sure you tune into the Stanley Cup playoffs starting this weekend. And be back here next Friday for a recapping about halfway through the first round. There probably will at least one series over by then, aka the Leafs and the Senators. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Stay dry. And as always, Frank, thank you for listening.